Hello guys, welcome to another video here on Advent of Cyber. This is day 4. I'm all atomic inside, and without further ado, let's get started. So the story behind today's challenge is that SOCMAS is approaching and the town of Wareville started preparations for the grand event. Now, Glitch, a quiet talented security SOCMAS engineer, had a hunch that this year's celebration would be different. With looming threats, he decided to revamp the town's security defenses. Glitch began to fortify the town's security defenses quietly and meticulously. He started by implementing a protective firewall, patching vulnerabilities, and assessing endpoints to patch for security vulnerabilities. As he worked tirelessly, he left breadcrumbs, more like traces, small traces of his activities. Unaware of Glitch's good intention, the SOC team spotted anomalies. Logs showing admin access, escalation of privileges, patch system behind different patch systems behaving differently, right? And security tools triggering alerts. So the SOC team misinterpreted the system modifications as a sign of an insider threat, or more like a rogue attacker coming in and doing things in the system. And then they decided to launch an investigation using the Atomic Red Team framework, which is what the whole day challenge is all about. Now, the learning objective for this room is to learn how to identify malicious techniques using the MITRE ATT&CK Framework, which we're going to see soon. We're going to learn about how to use the Atomic Red Team test to conduct attack simulations, and to understand how to create alerting and detection rules from the attack test. Now, getting started, we're going to connect to the machine. Today, we're going to be using the virtual machine. There's no need for the attack box, but also going to get a split screen available, and also we could get credentials to log in using RDP. I won't be able to do that, so I would just be using the virtual machine and the split screen. So without further ado, I'll start the machine. It's going to take a minute or two to start up. Okay, while it starts, I'm going to, when it's complete, I'll just enlarge it, make it a bolder for us to see. And then let's see here. Additionally, if you wish to connect to the machine via RDP, you can use these credentials. All right, now the virtual machine has Atomic Red Team and SIM1 installed. SIM1 is one of the applications running in we're going to be using in this room that's running already in that Windows machine. This will allow us to emulate an attack using TTPs described in the MITRE ATT&CK Framework. Okay, and if you're wondering what TTP means, it means tactics, techniques, and procedures. Okay, usually these are what attackers take, or like the procedures they take in trying to complete an attack from beginning to finish. Now, while this is loading, I'll go ahead and let's walk through some of these write-ups here to get a better understanding of today's challenge. Detection gaps. Now, while it might be the utopian's dream of every blue teamer, we will rarely be able to detect every attack or step in an attack kill chain. This is the reality. This is the reality that all blue teamers face. There are gaps in their detection, but worry not, these gaps do not have to be the size of a black hole. There are things we can do to help make these gaps smaller. So it's not going to be 100% all the time to be able to detect attacks or alerts, especially in the attack kill chain. All right, now detection gaps are usually for one or two main reasons. One, security is a cat and mouse game. As we detect more, the threat actors and red teamers will find new sneaky ways to thwart our detection. So we need to always study these new techniques and update our procedures or our alert rules to be able to detect these new techniques. And another way is actually, for example, let's say we're a company in the United States and we expect to see almost all our logins from that same IP address. But what if our CEO is on a private jet to Europe and he's logging into the system from Europe? And the line between anomalous and expected behavior is often very fine and sometimes even has significant overlap. Okay, so this is an example where normal and malicious behavior intertwine, making it hard to create accurate detection rules that would not have too much noise. All right, now let's go ahead and check what cyber attacks and the kill chain. Let's get a deeper understanding for that. So I'm going to just enlarge this full screen. Once it's getting full screen, I'll be able to minimize this here, so I'll be able to scroll down and let's go back to where we are. Now, before diving into creating new detections rule, we first have to discuss some key topics. The first topic is to discuss the cyber kill chain. All cyber attacks follow a fairly standard procedure, which is explained quite well by the unified cyber kill chain. So this is more like a general rule that every cyber attack goes through. The initial recon, the process they are studying their victim, initial compromise, getting the first foothold, and so on. Now, as a blue teamer, it will be our dream to prevent all attacks at the start of the kill chain, which is the beginning of that attack. So even just when the threat actors start their recognizance, we already stop them dead in their tracks. That would be the dream of every blue teamer, right? But as discussed before, this is not possible. The goal then shifts slightly to being able to stop them at any point at which they are in the cyber kill chain. So it doesn't have to be in the initial recon. If they are already at the initial compromise, we'll be able to stop them there. Okay, so if we're unable to fully detect and prevent a threat actor at any one phase in the kill chain, the goal becomes to perform detection across the entire kill chain in such a way that even if there are detection gaps in a single phase, the gap is covered in a later phase. So the goal therefore is to ensure we can detect the threat actor before their very last phase of the goal execution, which is whatever their main mission is. Before they get to it, we'll be able to stop them. Now, what is the MITRE attack? A popular framework for understanding the different techniques and tactics that threat actors perform through the kill chain is the MITRE attack framework. Now, the framework is a collection of tactics, techniques, and procedures that have been seen to be implemented by real threat actors. Now, the framework provides a navigator tool which where these TTPs, which is the tactics, techniques, and the procedures, can be investigated. Okay, in reconnaissance, you can see almost about 10 techniques and so on and so forth. Now, however, the framework primarily discusses these TTPs in a theoretical manner. This is where atomic red comes in for us to be able to practicalize, and see this gap and be able to, really see how it works. Now, what is atomic red? The atomic red team library is a collection of red team test cases that are mapped to the MITRE attack framework. Making sense? Now, the library consists of simple test cases that can be executed by any blue team to test for detection gaps and help close them down. Now, the library also supports automation where the techniques can be automatically executed. However, it is also possible to execute them manually. Now, dropping the atomic. Now, Maskedy has a vague idea of what happened to the compromised machine. It seemed that someone tried to use the atomic red team to emulate an attack on one of our systems without permission. Now, the perpetrator also did not clean up the test artifacts. So let's have a look at what happened. Okay, now running an atomic. Now this is where we get into practical. Now, Maskedy suspected that the supposed attacker used the MITRE attack technique T1566.001, which is called a spear phishing MITRE attack technique with an attachment. Now, let's recreate this attack emulation performed by the supposed actor and then look for the artifacts created. Now, over here we can just come here and right click on this PowerShell here. We're going to run it as an administrator. Okay, once it's open, you can actually right click here to click on properties and be able to increase the size to 2024 as you like, so it's bolder. Then we can put this to enlarge it completely here. Okay, now with that, basically the first thing we want to always do is to actually you can check out for commands, right? Get help in invoke -atomic test. This will show you the basic commands that we might be making use of. It's more like a help page. Let's not run that. Let's just go ahead. So basically, most of the basic things we'll be using here is like the -show details. This will show us the details of this test, included in the atomic, included in the atomic. And the atomic ID is more like the atomic ID. Okay, and then -show details. Another popular one is to check prerequisites, to provide us a check if all necessary components are present for the testing. And yeah, let's basically just try to come over and run this. I'll copy this and see if it's going to paste. Okay, let's see here. Alright, it's not pasting, so I might have to just type it all out. So invoke atomic test, invoke -atomic, you hit tab, it's completed for you. Then the test is T1566 dots, is that dots? Let me see if it's .001, that's correct. .001, and then dash show complete by tab details, and if you hit enter, it's going to show us the details of this atomic, right, of this particular ID T1566. And over here we're going to be seeing a couple of other atomic test numbers here. It could be test number 1, test, we have another one here, test number 2, and they're all different. Okay, you can see the beginning of the test here. What this one is doing, the technique is phishing. So it's a sphere phishing attachment, and what it's going to do is that it's going to download a macro enabled phishing attachment and so on. Okay, if you scroll down to the second one, you're going to see word spawned a this is a sphere phishing attachment as well, but the name is word spawned a command shell and used an IP address in the command line. Over here you can also see the description of what that particular atomic is doing, which is the word spawning a command prompt, then running a command with an IP address in the command line is an indicator of malicious activity. Upon execution, CMD will be launched and ping 8.8.8.8 and so on. Alright, so but let me quickly run through detecting the atomic. Now that we have executed this, and to execute a particular atomic, we just run that particular invoke atomic test command with the atomic ID and then dash test number 1, specifically if we want to run a particular test. And if you wonder what test number is, if you scroll up here, you remember where our test number, let me see here, over here, test number, see the test you want to execute using the text number. The scope is limited to the atomic technique. So if you scroll here, you would see that each of the tests have a specific atomic test number. Okay, now going forward, without making it more complex, I think we can just go straight to solving the questions, and then we can explain as we go on. Okay, the challenge here says, as Glitch continues to prepare for SOC mass and fortifies Wareville security, he decided to conduct an attack simulation that would mimic a ransomware attack across the environment. He's unsure of the correct detection metrics to implement for this text and asks you for help, which is us. Your task is to identify the correct atomic test to run that will take advantage of a command and scripting interpreter. Okay, that's the name. Conduct the test and extract valuable artifacts that would be used to craft a detection room. Now, question number 1 here says, what was the flag found in the .txt file that is found in the same directory as the phishing attachment XSLM artifact? Okay, in order to do that, to answer question number 1, we just quickly replicate what they did here by basically running, let me see here, by running invoke dash atomic test, the ID, and then dash test number 1. So let's do that. Okay, so over here, if you're looking at the down, it said invoke at dash atomic test T1566.001, then dash test, hit tab numbers, and then hit 1, hit enter, and it did this. Okay, so when we do this, for us to be able to see what has happened, so we're going to use our event. All right, so we have event viewer, sorry, not event finder. So event viewer, and then over here we're going to go to applications and service log. So give it a moment, it's loading. So with that, we click on Microsoft, and then we go to Windows, and then we scroll down under this Windows, we're looking for Simpson. Okay, we scroll down to S and Smon, sorry. So we'll click on this. All right, and click on operational. Okay, I had run this, but what you see here is more like a previously run process. So what we're going to do is to right click here and clear log. Once you clear log, clear. Okay, now we'll come back to our PowerShell. I'm going to run this again. If you notice, it was successful previously by saying download stuff, so it was done executing test. So I'm going to run it again, and good, we've successfully run it again. So if I come back to my event viewer here and come over here and refresh, once I refresh, I can go through. The first one is a tree connection. The second one here says file created. If you click on that, you can see that we had a file created and the location is right here on users, administrator, app data, local, and temp. Okay, now let's quickly go to that particular location. Click on local disk, then we're going to click on users, administrator, and app data, and then local, then temp, and then we can see that particular phishing attachment.xlsm that was created, and we can see that particular phishing attachment.txt that we're asked to find, which is the question number 1. What was the flag found in the .txt file that is found in the same directory as this? And that's basically what we'll just double click on this, and there we go with the flag. The flag says THM glitch testing for spear phishing. So I just double tap on that, copy, and we'll go back here, we'll just paste that here and then hit submit. Alright, that's correct. Now, what attack technique, let's go on with the questions here. What attack technique ID would be our point of interest? Now, if you look at our challenge, we're looking to perform or take advantage of the atomic test for a command and scripting interpreter. So I'm just going to copy this. It's a simple test that we can run on Google. So I'll paste this here, and I'm just going to add MITRE ATT&CK to narrow my search to maybe the database here. Okay, so I'm just going to click here. I think that's the command and scripting interpreter. Okay, so the question was a command and scripting interpreter, and the question is what is the technique ID. So if you come over here, this is like the MITRE ATT&CK official site, and for command and scripting interpreter we can see the ID is T1059. so I'm going to copy that, I'm going to paste it here. Okay, and I'll hit submit. Alright, correct. What attack sub technique ID focuses on the Windows command shell? We can actually copy that as well and search, or we can come back here and keep checking these sub techniques. Sub technique 1, and you can see it's command and scripting interpreter for PowerShell. And if you continue to do that, you find out the answer is .003, which is Windows command shell. So I'll just copy that. The question was for Windows command shell, so I'm just going to paste this here and submit. Correct. Now, what is the name of the atomic test to be simulated? Now, with this, we can just come over to our PowerShell here, and we're going to run for the details. Okay, so the details for it, we just come over here and let's go here. Invoke atomic test, and the ID. The ID is T1059, but we're looking out for T1059.003 actually. Okay, so T1059. So I'll go back here and type T1059.003, and then I'll type to show details and hit enter, and it's going to give us the details of that particular atomic, which is basically for the Windows command shell. So if I scroll up over here and over here, atomic test number 1. So this was the code we just ran here for show details. Okay, now the question for this is what is the name of the atomic test to be simulated? And if we scroll down here, we can see that atomic test number 4 is to simulate a black byte ransom print bomb. So I'm just going to copy this. That's the answer. Let me see here. It's not copying. Is it Ctrl C? Let me go here, paste that. Okay, submit. Alright, now what is the name of the file used in this test? Still under this atomic test number 4, we can see the files that was used here was Wareville ransomware.txt. It's all over everywhere here. So another one is Wareville ransomware.txt. So I'm just going to quickly copy this. Copy that and paste that here and submit. And lastly, we want to know what is the flag found from this atomic test. So the flag found from this atomic test is as simple, not just for that particular .003, but the entire thing, which is, we just go back here on T1059, which is the whole of this. Okay, a command and scripting interpreter. So we're going to just run this. Sorry, I made a mistake there. Okay, no, we're supposed to still run the .003 specifically, and then we hit enter, and it's running it all. Okay, voila. And now what we can notice here, what do we notice? We notice that this put up a calculator.exe. It was run successfully, but it ran several batches of script, which you could see here, that was successful, and it opened up this calculator here, as you can see here, a calculator. I'll call it calculator.exe, more like the execs running, and it's signaling a DLL attack vector possibly. And then we also have like a PDF file here that popped up for us to save, printing Wareville ransom.txt on a Microsoft print to PDF on prompt. So we can just save this as hack results, okay, and then save. It's going to be saving that to our desktop. So if I minimize this, okay, over here we could see the hack results. So if we double tap on this, we could see actually the PDF result. Glitch is working on testing the security posture before SOC mass is here. I will run as many tests and ensure we are all safe and uncover all the threats. And this is the flag, so we'll just copy this. Okay, Ctrl C. We'll come back here and we just paste that, take out this equals to sign, and we'll submit this. Great. Additionally, if you notice, the result here more like has a base 64 encoding, so we could do base 64 decode. Just additional thing. We could do copy this particular result here, decode it and see what it is. Okay. Let's see here. So if we decode this, no, this is supposed to be on UTF-8 decode, and it says glitch is not the enemy. Quite interesting, right? Okay, that's that. And lastly, if you enjoyed this room, you can learn more about Atomic Red Team via the linked room here. So we'll complete this. And yeah, that's that for day 4. Thank you guys for studying with me. Thank you guys for learning with me. I'll see you guys for day 5, and make sure you enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao.